Alright, hi. So basically before I upload my Selena tutorial, which it's gonna happen right now, I'm in the middle of editing it. But I was like doing some stuff right now and I thought, why not be in the spirit of Halloween and the spirit of cliche typical YouTube videos. I'll add a filler video as an intro to this weekend up to Halloween shenanigans. Um, and I was watching this and I was like, oh, I should tell my story. Here's the first story for the Halloween weekend. I have one more and then my Selena costume. Obviously the Selena costume will come first before my next story time because somebody needs it for Halloween. I know it. So that's how I'm going to do it. Anyway, enough ranting about that. So basically, yeah, I had a weird stalker person. I don't know what the hell you'd call it. It's nothing super incredible or amazing, but it just goes to show you no matter who, like, it doesn't matter. Like, all females will go through this at some point in their lives when they're really young or they're really old. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, being a woman sucks a lot most of the time because we have to put up with so much shit from men. Of course, not all men, but statistically, yeah. So this happened when I was around 19 years old. I was living with my boyfriend, who is now my husband. We had a really, really nice apartment in this historic building near the university that I went to. And every day, and we picked this apartment because A, it was super beautiful, it was affordable, like it was just a huge, it was huge. Like you don't even understand like how huge this apartment was. So we had this apartment, it was awesome. You know, I was going to school, I was working, I had my dog, I had my boyfriend, like life was perfect, right? So we picked this apartment also because it was in walking distance to the university. And since, you know, parking stickers at university are just outrageous, I never paid for parking stickers just because I knew I could walk, right? You know, save some money. So anyways, so I would walk back and forth from university every day. And when I worked at this time, I would work, I think I had Mondays and Saturdays off, and I would work from 6 to 2:45 in the morning. That was my schedule, and then I had class the next day like at 11 or something. So I was accustomed to coming home super late, early in the morning, however you want to say it. And of course, you know, when you come home from work, like, you're tired, but at that time of the day, it's kind of like you're getting off during the afternoon. So your body is still active and awake. So I wouldn't go to bed right away when I would get home from work. Sometimes I would like make myself a lunch or whatever, or breakfast, and I would watch Maury Povich and then I'd go to bed. Or sometimes I would just go straight to bed because my body was tired, but my mind was active. So I would lie awake in bed. My boyfriend would be asleep. At that time also, just to kind of have you understand what was going on leading up to the stalker story, my husband or my boyfriend worked at the post office. He was a clerk, so he would have to go into work super early. He would wake up like at 4 a.m. and he had to be at work by 4:30 or 5 o'clock or something crazy like that, right? So sometimes when I would get off at 2:45 in the morning, I would still be up and I would see him off like when he would leave for work. So I would still be awake, but I would be in bed with my dog or whatever. And then I started noticing around the time, now this happened quite a few times where I noticed the pattern where my bedroom was. See, it was kind of like Melrose Place. The whole apartment complex was what it was. It used to be barracks, like back in the day, like the early 1900s. It was where the sergeants and sergeant majors lived. So that's why these apartments were like houses. They were like condos. They were so big. So all of these apartments surrounded a courtyard, a circular courtyard, and then there was a gate to go outside, but there was no lock on the gate. You just push it open and people would come and go. So around between 3:30 and I'd say 4:30 a.m. The first time I heard it, didn't think much of it, whatever, you know, people come in and out. Lots of people live there. And then I saw this guy walking through the courtyard because my apartment had a front door and a back door. The back door was to the kitchen. He would go to my back door where the kitchen was, and he stopped, right? Because at the angle I saw him walking, I was like, he's just gonna hit the wall. But I didn't know that he was gonna try and come through my kitchen. So it was really weird because the man would just kind of walk in, like super cool, like whatever, I'm just gonna go into this chick's kitchen. And he would never try to force his way in. He always did this. He would just go up to the door and he would check it, like if I had forgotten to lock it. And he did this like a couple times, and I started noticing the pattern. And of course my dog would be like, and this was my dog Trinity, who I had to put down last October, so oh, I miss that dog. This dog helped me out, because she was like, I am putting up with this bullshit. So anyways, she would kind of be like, when she would hear something, she would go, huh, huh, like like she was ready to cough before she barked, or when she was clearing her throat to like bitch someone out. Cuss someone out, bitch someone out. I'm sorry. The bitch was ready to cuss someone out. There you go. So yeah, so this guy kept doing it. Now on my kitchen door, I had like a really shitty screen door with the little hook and eye lock. And then of course like the wooden door with the bolt, and then that. So one time, and I don't know how I forgot to lock the screen door. You know, obviously I come home super late. I'm like, whatever. So I was lying in bed and I was like, I heard the courtyard open. It was like between 3:30 and 4:30, like I said. And I was like, oh, here comes the son of a bitch. And also at this time, it was during December, like the end of November to December. And I was already pregnant with my first son. I was 19 years old. I was pregnant with my first son, Andrew. So I was like a month pregnant at the most. I had just found out recently. So the guy comes and I'm like, oh, here comes the son of a bitch. And sure enough, my dumbass, or my husband, I don't remember at the time, I'm going to say it was me, I didn't lock the screen door. So I heard the fucking screen door open and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. So this time he was actually able to open the screen door with no force. Like I just forgot to lock it and he opened it. And then I heard him jiggling the doorknob. Again, not forced entry. He just jiggled it just to see, you know, maybe this bitch forgot to lock the fucking door so I could come in. And I was like, oh shit. And then that time my dog Trinity got up and she ran to the kitchen and she was just barking and barking and barking and barking. And the man just turned around and he walked quickly out of the courtyard. Well, at that point, I called my boyfriend and I was like, what the hell? So the next day we told my neighbors, because the neighbor next to me was a studio apartment. He was a really cool guy. And he's like, here's my number. Next time it happens, just call me. I'll go out my window, because his window from his living room, if you came out of it, you would be in the courtyard. He's like, I'll come out and I'll beat him with my club. And then I told my neighbors next door to me, the other to the right of me, and the husband was like, honey, I have my axe ready. He's like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. And I was like, all right, cool. So I have people on my side. And then it kept happening. And you know, I wanted, you know, and I'm such a dumbass, like I wanted to yell out my window, what the fuck do you want? But I kind of like stopped myself, because I was like, girl, you're a month pregnant. Why would you do something so fucking retarded like that? I was like, just be quiet and call the cops. So after, you know, many times of this happening, I finally called the cops. And, you know, I was like, there's this guy, he keeps trying to break into my apartment or whatever. So the dispatch was like, okay, we'll have someone there shortly. This was about 4 a.m. Cops didn't come till 7 a.m. They knock on my front door. They're like, yes, we're coming to hear about disturbance. And I open the doors and I'm like, hi, officers, you're talking to a dead woman. And they're like, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. You know, we just had some more important calls. And I was like, okay, whatever the fuck. So I gave them the rundown, the description. They're like, okay, well, we've had kind of a similar instances going on in this neighborhood where someone's trying to open the doors, but they're not forcing entry. They're just checking if you forgot to unlock them, if you forgot to lock them. So I was like, oh my God, well, I'm not going to put up with this shit anymore. Like, I'm a month pregnant. My husband, I mean, obviously he's been watching me and he knows my schedule, because he comes shortly after I get off of work, assuming I'm asleep or something, but I'm wide awake. And, you know, like, I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't know if this guy wanted to rob us, or he wanted to kill me, or he wanted to rape me. Like, I didn't know. It was just creepy. So whatever. So the next day or whatever, it was after several times this happened, it became the 1st or 2nd of December. and the maintenance man was the one who would come around to all the apartments to collect rent. So when he came to collect rent, I told him, I was like, hey man, I really need to talk to the owners, because I thought maybe I could talk to them and say, hey, can you put a lock on that courtyard gate, explain what was going on. And I said, hey, I don't remember the maintenance man's name. I was like, and I explained to him, and he's like, and I said, I really need to talk to the owner of the building. He's like, well, why do you need to talk to the owner of the building? And I was like, because it's my tenant right to talk to the owner of the building. I go, there's some really freaky shit happening here and I need to speak to the owner. And he's like, you don't need to go through the owner, you just go through me. And I was like, this son of a bitch. I was like, are you fucking for reals, dude? And I was just like, whatever, here, take my rent money and whatever. So obviously he's gonna be a dick about it. I couldn't get a hold of the apartment because if you called the number, it would go straight to this maintenance man. So it was stupid. To this day, I don't know how the fuck you get in touch with the owners, because whatever. So I basically told my boyfriend, he was like, you know what? The cops aren't doing shit. Maintenance man's a fucking asshole. So he's like, let's move. And I told my mom, they're like, yeah, just move back temporarily until you guys find another place to live or whatever. So, you know, from one day to the next, he didn't want to give me the number to the owner. So I was like, fuck you, dude. I'm just going to move out. And at that point, we were already like, we weren't on a lease. We were just month to month. I didn't even tell him, like, fuck you. I wasn't giving you the courtesy of telling you we moved out. So I called in on work the next day. We called all our friends. We rented a U-Haul and we moved the fuck out of the apartment in one day. And, I don't know if that man or the stalker saw us moving out and he was like, ah, shit. But yeah, we just did that because I wasn't going to put myself in a situation where I was in danger any further, especially going further along into my pregnancy. So I mean, it really sucked. We had to move from the apartment because I absolutely love it. I have great memories living there, but you know, it just wasn't worth it because you don't know what these crazy people are going to do. I don't have time for that. So that was my creepy stalker story. Again, like I said, nothing too crazy, but just, you know, just bullshit you got to put up with as a female. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, stay tuned for the Selena tutorial, and then I will have another crazy story to tell you as entertainment for the weekend, and then that'll be it. And then I'll figure out what else I need to post after that. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.